Hello and welcome to my channel. Today's video we are going to be making this little Totoro. I'm using a number 4 yarn, and the Totoro you see right now, I used a 3.75 hook. Today in the video I am going to be using a 4.25 hook just because it's a little easier for me. And I have also tested it in a number 6 yarn using a 5.5 hook. And I'm sorry it's hard for me to show you how he turned out, but he's quite large. That's my hand on him. I'll put a screenshot at the end of all 3 and what hook and sizes they ended up being. Probably just as soon as I stop talking here and before I put my little disclaimer. And if you want to do his eyes like I did, you'll just need a little chunk of white felt or something similar to glue underneath his eyes. His body, arms, and little tail are all no-sew, and then you'll have to sew on his ears and his little belly patch. We're going to start with his arms, then we'll do his tail, and then we'll move up to the head, and we'll add those as we go. And then we'll finish them off at the end, and I'll show you how to do the sewing part for those. This is a crochet along, so I will be doing every stitch with you. But if you get lost or I do something you don't understand, there will be a 30-second drop down at the beginning of every row that you can refer back to. And if you enjoy this video, please hit the subscribe button. Not only does that help me out, but you will also be notified every time I load a new video, as well as feel free to like, share, and comment. Okay, I think that's everything. So grab your yarn and let's get started. Okay, we're going to start with the arms. And remember, you can start any way you prefer, as long as you keep row 1 the same. I like to start with a knot with the loop on the end, as if I'm going to just make a chain. You're going to insert your hook, grab your yarn, and chain 1. And we should all be at the same spot now, however you started. And for row 1, we're going to do 8 single crochets into the loop. And I'll be going over my tail if you're doing it my way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then just pull that closed and grab your stitch marker if you're using one. I like to use a piece of thread so that I can go back and check my stitches and rows if I need to. And for row 2, we're going to do 1 single crochet and then an increase. Repeat that all the way around for a total of 12. So 1, and then an increase for 2 and 3. And just repeat that same sequence all the way around. So 4, and an increase, 5 and 6, 7, and an increase, 8 and 9, 10, and your increase, 11 and 12. Row 3, you're going to do 3 single crochets, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 15. So 1, 2, 3, and an increase for 4 and 5. And then just repeat that same sequence. 6, 7, 8, and an increase, 9 and 10. Repeat 11, 12, 13, and an increase, 14 and 15. Rows 4 to 6, we're just going to do 15 single crochets all the way around, and I'm going to count those consecutively. So I'm going to do 45 single crochets and then just flip my marker every time I hit a set of 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Flip your marker. Sorry guys, I haven't crocheted a video in a month and I'm not used to sitting here with my arms out. So bear with me, I'll get better as we get going. So keep on counting. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, flip your marker if you're using one, keep on counting, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, and 45. Row 7, we're going to do 3 single crochets, 1 decrease, repeat that all the way around for a total of 12. So 1, 2, 3, and a decrease for 4. Repeat that, 5, 6, 7, and a decrease for 8, and repeat again, 9, 10, 11, and a decrease for 12. Rows 8 to 12, we're just going to do 12 single crochets all the way around, and I'm also going to do that consecutively. That's 5 rows of 12, which should be 5 times 12 is 60, so I'm going to do 60 single crochets and flip my marker every time I hit a set of 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, flipping my marker, keep on counting, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, flipping my marker, keep on counting, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, flipping my marker and keep on counting, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, flipping my marker, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60. Okay, grab your stuffing, and what I like to do is take a little bit more than I need, enough for about 2 arms, and then just kind of double check if I have the same amount, and then I'll put one to the side, so when I get to the second arm, they're kind of stuffed the same. And the reason I did my first one in a 3.75 hook is because I'm really stuffing this guy super firm. So if you do find that you're stuffing it so much that your stitches are showing through, go down a hook size. See, you can already see my stitches are opening up a little bit, but I needed the stuffing to kind of help shape the body. So I think that's enough. So I only used about half of what I took. So I'm going to take that much out of this side. I mean, they don't have to be perfect, but similar is a little nicer. Seems shorter compared to the other one, but it'll work. Now we're going to fold it in half. We can get rid of our stitch marker. And we want to put 6 single crochets across, going through both the front and the back. So you'll go into your next stitch, and then you're going to go into this back stitch right here, under both sides of that V, and you're just going to do 6 single crochets. 1, through the front and the back, 2, same thing, 3, 4, 5, and if you get to the end like I just did and it seems like you don't have another stitch, just put an increase in there, just so you need to have 6 stitches. So it'll look like this. And then you're just going to pull a tail out just long enough, maybe about the length of your hook or something like that. Cut it on this side so you have a little extra. We are sewing these on as we go, but I do something with these ends that helps make the arms stay on a little tighter, so you want that little tail. So if you've just finished your first one, I will be putting a screenshot in the next frame with a timestamp so you can go back and do your second one. And if you are done your second one, just keep on watching and we'll move on to the next part. So now we're going to start the tail, and remember, start however you prefer. And I'm going to be making my knot with the loop on the end. If you're doing it my way, insert the hook, grab your yarn, pull up and through, and chain 1 just like we did before. And when we're all at the same spot, ready to start row 1, we're going to do 8 single crochets into the loop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And this is a good example of why we crochet over our tail. You see I got a big hole because I made my loop too big. You just pull that tail and that'll tighten that loop up for you. Grab a stitch marker if you're using one, and for row 2 we're going to do 8 increases all the way around for a total of 16. So increase 1 and 2, increase 3 and 4, increase 5 and 6, increase 7 and 8, increase 9 and 10, increase 11 and 12, increase 13 and 14, increase 15 and 16. Rows 3 to 6, we are just going to do 16 single crochets all the way around, and that's 4 rows, and I'm going to do them consecutively. So 4 times 16 is 64, and I'm just going to flip my marker every time I hit a set of 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Flipping my marker, and I'm going to keep on counting. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, flipping my marker and keep on counting. 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, flipping my marker and keep on counting. 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64. For row 7, we are going to do 2 single crochets, 1 decrease, repeat that pattern all the way around for a total of 12. So 1, 2, and a decrease for 3, 4, 5, and a decrease for 6, 7, 8, and a decrease for 9, 10, 11, and a decrease for 12. Rows 8 to 10, we're going to do 12 single crochets all the way around, and I'm going to do that consecutively again. So that's 3 rows of 12, 12 times 3 is 36. So I'm just going to count to 36, flip my marker every time I hit a set of 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Flipping my marker and keep on counting. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, flipping my marker and keep on counting. 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. Row 11, I'm going to do 1 single crochet, 1 decrease, repeat that around for a total of 8. So 1 decrease for 2, 3, decrease for 4, 5, decrease for 6, 7, and a decrease for 8. Okay, now we'll add some stuffing. We can remove our marker if you used one. And just like the arm, you want this fairly firm. So to me, that's not firm. That's probably how I would normally do it. So I'm going to add a little bit more, maybe twice as much as I just had. And that, I can barely squish that down, like with gentle pushing. Just remember, you don't want to open up your stitches so you see the stuffing. All right, so now you're going to fold it in half. And you want to have 3 single crochets going across. So you're going to start in your next stitch on this side, your last stitch on the other side, and do 3 single crochets. 1, make sure you get through both layers. 2, and 3. And then tie that off. I haven't decided what to do at the end of this when I make a tail. So I usually just hide it inside when I go around, but I still make a long tail just in case, just because that's what I'm used to. All right, now we're going to start on the body. We'll begin at the top of the head and work our way down. Make your knot with the loop on the end, or your chain or magic ring or slip knot, however you're starting. If you're starting my way, you're going to grab your yarn, Pull up and chain 1, remembering that does not count as a stitch. That's just to attach your yarn to your loop. And for round 1, we're going to do 8 single crochets into our loop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And close that up if you need to. Grab a stitch marker if you are using one. And for row 2, you're going to do 1 single crochet, 1 increase. Repeat that all the way around for a total of 12. So 1 single crochet, 1 increase for 2 and 3, and just repeat around. 4, increase, 5 and 6, 7, increase, 8 and 9, 10, increase, 11 and 12. Row 3, we're going to do the same thing. 1 single crochet, 1 increase. Repeat that all the way around for a total of 18. 1, increase, 2 and 3. Repeat, 4, increase, 5 and 6, 7, increase, 8 and 9, 10, increase, 11 and 12, 13, increase, 14 and 15, 16, and an increase, 17 and 18. Row 4, you're going to do 2 single crochets, 1 increase. Repeat that all the way around for a total of 24. So 1, and then 2, and increase. 3 and 4. Repeat, 5, 6, and an increase, 7 and 8. 9, 10, whoops, increase, 11 and 12. 13, 14, increase, 15 and 16, 17, 18, increase, 19 and 20, 21, 22, and an increase, 23 and 24. All right, row 5, we're going to do 3 single crochets, 1 increase. Repeat that all the way around for a total of 30. 1, 2, 3, increase, 4 and 5. Repeat, 6, 7, 8, increase, 9 and 10. 11, 12, 13, increase, 14, and whoopsie, 15, 16, 17, 18, increase, 19 and 20, 21, 22, 23, increase, 24 and 25, 26, 27, 28, increase, 29 and 30. Row 6, we're going to do 4 single crochets, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 36. 1, 2, 3, 4, and an increase, 5 and 6, and repeat that, 7, 8, 9, 10, and an increase, 11 and 12. 13, 14, 15, 16, and an increase, 17 and 18. 19, 20, 21, 22, and an increase, 23 and 24. 25, 26, 27, and an increase, 28, and an increase, 29 and 30. And our last set, 31, 32, 33, 34, and our increase, 35 and 36. Row 7 to 14, we're just going to do 36 single crochets all the way around, and I'm going to use my stitch counter. So we've finished up to row 6, so let's set that at 6. And that'll be, I believe, 8 rows of 36. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, oops, I didn't catch all that, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. I'm just going to change my mark or counter here. So that was our 7th row. And another row of 36. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. That was row 8. Another row of 36. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, whoops, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, and 36. So that was our 9th row. Another row of 36. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Hey, hon, can you tell me what the timer on the oven is? 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. That was row 10. All right, another row of 36. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. So that was row 11. And another row of 36. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. Row 12 is done. Another row of 36. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. So that's row 13 done. One more row, another row of 36. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. And that was our 14th row. Row 7 to 14, 8 rows. And now we're ready to start our arm row. Row 15, we are going to start with 6 single crochets across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now grab your arm, and remembering that where you just started, we're going to keep as at the back of our little Totoro. You're going to go in the first stitch of the arm with the strings facing towards the front. Whoops. And then you're going to go in the next stitch. So this was your last stitch. You're going to go over into this stitch of the body. And you're going to do 1 single crochet. And we need to do 6 of them. So we're just going to continue that. So through the arm and the body is 2. Through the arm, the next stitch of the body, 3. Through the arm and the next stitch of the body, 4. Through the arm and the next stitch of the body, 5. And one last time through the arm, through the next stitch of the body, and that's 6. Now make sure you keep these threads on the outside because we'll use them later. And then we're going to do 12 single crochets across the front. Make sure you get in the next stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Now grab your other arm and make sure the string is facing the front. And we're going to do 6 single crochets across. Make sure you get into the right stitch so you have 6 stitches. So through the arm and through the body. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and last one, arm and body, 6. And we should have 6 single crochets left. Make sure you go in the next stitch and not the one you were just in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and that should bring you right back to the stitch marker. Row 16, we're going to do 5 single crochets, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 42. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and an increase, 6 and 7. And continue that sequence. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and an increase, 13 and 14. Back to singles, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and an increase, 20 and 21. 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, and an increase, 27 and 28. 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, and an increase, 34 and 35. 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, and an increase, 41 and 42. Row 17, we're just going to do 42 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Row 18, we are going to do 6 single crochets, 1 increase. Repeat that all the way around for a total of 48. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and an increase, 7 and 8. And just repeat that again. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and an increase, 15 and 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and an increase, 23 and 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, and an increase, 31 and 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, and an increase, 39 and 40, and this should be our last set, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, and an increase, 47 and 48. Okay, rows 19 to 26 is going to be 48 single crochets. It's really hot up here and my needle is squeaking. I can't even get through a whole row. So if you can't handle that, do your 8 rows of 48 and meet me back here at row 27, and I'll put a little time stamp right there. If you're sticking with me, let's start row 19, 48 single crochets. 1, 2, see, it's already 3. I'm just rubbing it in my hair. Somehow that works, but not for very long. So that was 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, whoops, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48. So that was row 19. Another row of 48. One, whoops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, whoops, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, whoops, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, and 48. Mark that. So that was row 20. Next row, another row of 48. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, oops, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48. And that's 21 rows. Another row of 48. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48. So that's 22 rows. Another row of 48. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What's happening here? 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48. That's 23 rows. All right, another row of 48. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, and 48. And that is 24 rows. All right, another row of 48. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, oops, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48. So that's 25 rows. We're going to 26, so we have one more left. So our last row of 48. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48. And that finishes up to row 26. Alright, now you should be done your 8 rows of 48 and you are ready to start row 27, which will be 6 single crochets, 1 decrease, repeat that all the way around for a total of 42. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and a decrease for 7. And then just repeat that same sequence. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and a decrease for 14. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and a decrease for 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, and a decrease for 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, and a decrease for 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, and a decrease for 42. Row 28, you're just going to do 42 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, and 42 for our last stitch. Row 29, we're going to do 5 single crochets, 1 decrease. Repeat that all the way around for a total of 36. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a decrease for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and a decrease for 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and a decrease for 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and a decrease for 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and a decrease for 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, and a decrease for 36. Row 30 is just going to be 36 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, ouch, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. Okay, now we're going to add the tail. And you just want to maybe double check. For the other three I did one single crochet, then the tail, and then finished the round. But just in case we're done something a little different or tension is off, just kind of put your tail right in the center of the back and just kind of see that it lines up where you want it. So mine is okay. I'm just going to have the one single crochet and then it's still in the center. But if yours happens to be like this, say, you don't want your tail way over here. You just want to line it up in the center, and then you will do, looks like 1, 2, maybe 3 single crochets and then your tail, or vice versa. It should not be like this. Something's wrong if it's way off like this. Then you'll just go on this other side. But just in case, you want to make sure that tail is in the center of the back. So we're going to start with 1 single crochet if you're basically in the same place as me. Then you're going to grab your tail. I don't know if it really matters which side is up. I'm going to put my tail to the left. And then we're going to do our 3 single crochets through the tail and through the next stitch of the body. So that's 1. And again through the tail and the next stitch of the body. That's 2. and one more time through the tail and the next stitch of the body. That's 3. And here's where I said I'm not sure what to do with this tail for right now. I just tuck it on the inside and let it go hang out over there. Okay. So now we should have 1 decrease. So I should have looked at this before I did this. Because we are doing a decrease row and I forgot. So for the rest of the row, we're going to do 4 single crochets, 1 decrease, and our total number of stitches will be 30. So this is our first set right here to over the tail. Now we're going to do 4 single crochets and a decrease. So let's see, that was 5, so 6, 7, 8, 9, and a decrease for 10. Repeat that again. 11, 12, 13, 14, and a decrease for 15. 16, 17, 18, 19, and a decrease for 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and a decrease for 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and a decrease for 30. Okay, we're going to add the eyes before we get too far down along here. So for these little eyes, I just cut out a chunk of felt and I used a dime, and then I just kind of cut it down if I needed to. So my dimes, if you have a different currency, are about 1.5. Oh, so what's that, 15 millimeters? And then for the large one, I used a loonie, which is, so what's that, 25? About 25 millimeters. Now I did also try painting some 20 millimeter clear eyes. I just put white nail polish on the backs of them. But to me, it just didn't look right. It depends on the size you ended up with, maybe. I actually didn't try it on the little one. That didn't look that bad. I tried it on the big one. So on the big one, they looked like this. I just preferred the felt is all, because it was a smaller pupil, I guess. So figure out what size you want to make and what you can use. If you don't have any coins, you could try like the lid of a pill bottle, a sewing thread, something. Actually, even the bottom of a slim little nail polish. It doesn't have to be perfect or the exact size. And you're just gonna lay your whatever you're using down. Oh, where's my pen? Oh, it's right here. And then I just traced around it. And I should have had my sewing scissors up here, but I got my everything scissors. And then just cut around it. I might fast forward this part. Look it, you guys rock. That was supposed to be for my pet rock signs, but I just couldn't. I think I spent about 2 hours trying to embroider "You Rock" onto the felt by the time I took it out and redid it 100 million times. That's why if you have done the pet rock tutorial, there is no sign in the video. So once you have your eye, take your little awl or your scissors and put a teeny little hole in the middle. And then I'm using 8mm safety eyes for the small ones, and I'm using I think 12mm for the bigger one in the number 6 yarn. So 8 and 12. But also doesn't have to be exact, that's just what I picked. Okay, garbage that. Can I put that so I don't poke myself? Could have been a little more in the center there. Okay, so get that all out of my way. So we're going to add some stuffing here. You don't have to, but I like to add the stuffing so that I can see how it looks instead of throwing the eyes in and then realizing maybe they're a little too close. Just to make sure I'm happy with the placement. Okay. I'll just add this last little bit. Alright, so let's get this up a bit. Ah, of course, it's pretty good to get this far without that happening. Sorry, if you're a regular viewer, you know I'm not great at videoing and things happen like that. So we want to put our eyes about between rows 9 and 10. So find your center loop where you first started and start counting. Let me get a different color here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So between 9 and 10. Actually, that looks pretty centered right where I have it. So I'm just going to stick my little pin in there. Just kind of double check that you're happy with where everything is. And we are going to put the eyes about 6 stitches apart. So I'm just going to count over from my pin 3 holes. 1, 2, 3. Seems a little high, but I might just check that. 1, 2, 3. Nose, mouth. Oh no, that'll be okay. Now we'll have to take our stuffing out so we can put the backs on. Don't grab your back. Put it on your eye post. Listen for those clicks. And just, if you need to, just kind of move your eye a bit so it's a little even. Later on we'll glue those down. Let's add our stuffing back in now. So we're going to want to stuff it fairly firm, especially if you're doing the number 6 yarn, just so it holds its shape. And I'm not going to stuff it all the way because I want to be able to work on my bottom round still without it being too tricky. So I'm going to stuff about halfway, the tummy about halfway. So it looks, if I push it down, it's about right here. It's giving me lots of room to still work up here. Okay, row 32. We are going to do 3 single crochets, 1 decrease for a total of 24. Make sure that old tail from your tail isn't in your way either. All right. So 1, 2, I need to tip this down a bit. Maybe I shouldn't have stuffed it that much. 3, and a decrease for 4. And then just repeat that again. Yep, I gotta take some stuffing out. Just because I can't, because my table's here and I can't move it or it won't be center anymore. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I have 5 as my single, 6, 7, and 8 is a decrease. 9, 10, 11, and a decrease for 12. 13, 14, 15, and a decrease for 16. 17, 18, 19, and a decrease for 20. And this should be our last set. 21, 22, 23, and a decrease for 24. 4. Row 33, we're going to be going in the back loop. So if you've never gone in the back loops, when we usually go in, we go under both sides of this V. When we're going in the back loop, we're going to go down between the V's and out the back, and it will leave a little line that will kind of make the top, or I guess the bottom, go flat, so he'll sit a little better. Okay, so for round 33, in the back loops, we're going to do 2 single crochets, 1 decrease, and we're going to repeat that all the way around for a total of 18. Make sure you're in the right stitch in the back loop. So just like that. Sorry, I really am not in the right position here. Something's wrong. 1, 2, and a decrease for 3. And repeat that all the way around. 4, 5, whoops. What am I doing? Why can't I twist? 4, 5, I need to be higher, and a decrease for 6. Seven, 8, and a decrease for 9. 10, 11, and a decrease for 12. It must be just because I'm not used to being around the camera with my arms out, because this is not, this should be it should be easy for you. I'm on 13, 14, and a decrease for 15. And should be our last one. 16. 17, and a decrease for 18. I got my guy's head all squished down now. I'm going to do one more row and then I'm going to stuff him. You guys can stuff as you go if you want. So for row 34, we're going to do 1 single crochet, 1 decrease. Repeat that all the way around for a total of 12. So 1 and a decrease for 2, 3, oops, and a decrease for 4, oops, 5, and a decrease for 6, 7, and a decrease for 8, 9, and a decrease for 10, 11, and a decrease for 12. So I hope you can't hear the lawnmower too much. I only got half the lawn mowed yesterday, and my honey's mowing the rest, so I guess you can listen to it while we stuff, and then if he hasn't got all the way down the lane yet, by the time I'm ready to do more, I'll just wait till he's a little further away. So let's get it stuffed now before we do our last row. So this is your last chance to kind of play with the shape. So make sure you get enough in there. And I don't know if I mentioned this already, but when I did the larger one, I used a lot of stuffing. So make sure more is better than less on the number 6 yarn, because it kind of shapes it better. And the stuffing will sometimes relax a little bit. Like if I go back to some of the things I stuffed a year ago, I feel like I could put twice as much stuffing in it now as what I had in it before. Alright, I'm going to put at least this little bit in. I wonder, who do I have that's right in my reach? Maybe the bunny. All right. I'm just gonna shape him. He kind of look a bit like a potato. Actually, you know what he reminded me of as I was making the pattern? I can't remember his name. He's the purple guy. Is it Grimace, the McDonald's guy? He just needs that big mouth and be in purple. Alright, so see, this guy even feels softer than when I first stuffed him a couple weeks ago. I think this is okay because I'm using the 4.25 hook instead of the 3.75. I'm not stuffing him quite as much as I did the other one. If you can tell my squishiness on here, it's quite, like I'm pushing down hard. You can hear my voice. So he is quite firm. And then this is, look at this. That I thought was stuffed pretty good last year. So just remember that when you're stuffing. All right, let's close up his bottom now. So for row 35, you're going to do 6 decreases. So 1, 2, 'Why this table's in my way? 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then in the next stitch, you're just going to do a slip stitch and then tie off once or twice. I'm going to do once because I put a knot in after I go around. So leave a bit of a tail for that. And get your darning needle out. I'm going to take my stitch marker out. Get that out of the way. And the way I do it is I go in the top loop, the front loop. I do not know if it makes a difference or not. And I just weave back and forth through all the loops till I get back to the beginning. If you find you have a hard time with your number 6 yarn breaking, go through, shoot, I should have done that to begin with. Where's my... If you go through the first 3 or so loops, so pretend this is my darning needle thread, and then you can pull that, and then go through the last 3 loops, and you can pull that, and that will help with the breakage, because you're not pulling through all 6 at a time, you're pulling through about 3 at a time. And then we're just going to tie that off, and I'm going to do mine twice. And then just come down back in the center and just out somewhere, anywhere around the back. And then you're going to give that a cut. Let's put the arms, deal with the arms now too maybe. So what I do is I'll thread my, and you don't have to do this, but since we left them out, you might as well. So you just thread your yarn on, and you're going to go in that last stitch where you came, where your yarn tail's hanging out. So just right in there. And you're going to come out the back center. So about right there. And then you're going to do that with the other arm. So if you are making more of my patterns and you don't like this way, just leave yourself a tail and you can sew them on later, or you can leave it on the inside as you go around. But I feel like this really helps give some shape and makes the arms a little sturdier. So you're going to tie these once. Keep track of which way each thread is going. I like to wrap it around, and then I'll turn my guy around so they're not crisscrossed. And then you're just going to give them a pull, and that's going to bring the knots in, and it'll kind of give him a little bit more of a shape. This guy doesn't need as much as some of the ones I do. So I'm not going to pull him too much because we want to keep that barrel shape. And then you just tie it like you normally would and thread those ends back in. How did I lose? Oh. I don't know how you can lose a darning needle when you haven't moved, but you can. And you go. And then just bring it out somewhere. Oops, good thing that wasn't pointy. And then just kind of play with the shape a bit. Okay, and we will start on the next part. Okay, I think it's quiet enough. We can start on the ears. So we're going to make our loop, or however you start. So I'm doing the knot with the loop on the end as if I was going to make a chain. Insert my hook. Grab the yarn, chain 1. Remember that doesn't count as a stitch. And for round 1, we're going to do 6 single crochets into the loop. Oh, I can't get comfy. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, grab a stitch marker if you're using one. And for row 2, you're going to do 2 single crochets, 1 increase, and repeat that around for a total of 8. So 1, 2, and an increase, 3 and 4. Repeat that again. 5, 6, and an increase, 7 and 8. And make sure your piece is folding away from you so that you're not crocheting it inside out. And for round 3, we're going to do 1 single crochet, 1 increase, repeat that around for a total of 12. So 1, increase for 2 and 3, 4, increase for 5 and 6, 7, increase for 8 and 9, 10, and an increase for 11 and 12. Rows 4 to 7, we are going to do 12 single crochets all the way around. So that's 4 rows of 12, and I'm going to do that consecutively. So 4 times 12 is 48. So I'm going to do 48 stitches and flip my marker when I hit every set of 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, flipping my marker, and I'm going to keep on counting. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, flipping my marker, and I'm going to keep on counting. 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, flipping my marker and keep on counting, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48. Now our next row is going to be a decrease row. So we're going to put a little bit of stuffing in the top here. And then for row 8, we're going to do 1 single crochet, 1 decrease. Repeat that all the way around for a total of 8. So 1 and a decrease for 2, 3, and a decrease for 4, 5, and a decrease for 6, 7, and a decrease for 8. For row 9, we're going to do 2 single crochets, 1 decrease, repeat that around for a total of 6. Oops, so 1, 2, and a decrease for 3, 4, 5, and a decrease for 6. Rows 10 to 12, we are going to do 6 single crochets all the way around. And again, consecutively, that's 3 times 6 is 18. So I'm just going to do 18 and then flip when I hit a 6. So 1, I don't remember it being this tricky, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll put my marker and keep on counting. 7, 8, 9, 10. Sorry about the squeaking. 11, 12. That's okay. Flip my marker and keep on counting. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And you can get rid of your marker if you used one. and then just slip stitch into the next stitch and tie off, leaving enough yarn to sew that ear on. Now we got to stuff up in this tiny little part here. So the easiest way for me was just do a little bit at a time. And one of my favorite tips is using the ends of your scissors, and I don't know why it works so good because it makes absolutely no sense, but it really gets that down in there where you need it. You want to make sure that this short little part right here is fairly firm because you don't want it to flip over. You want it to stand straight up. So even if you need to put more in the end, you want this, that's definitely not enough. Try not to push it down too far and it will help a little bit. Okay, I think we got her close here. So if you're just working on your first one, I'm going to do like the arm, and in the next frame I will have a little timestamp so you can go back and do your second ear. And if you're done the second one, just keep on watching for the next part. Okay, let's see about getting these ears on. So you're going to want to grab some pins if you have them. You're going to want to position your ears so they're basically across the center where your arms are, and just maybe one row over from the center. So about like this. So you can see that first loop that you made. And then just kind of have a look that they're kind of in the middle of your arm, the center of his head. And I'm going to put the string so it's kind of in the back a bit, so I can start and end in the back. And then you're just going to pin that on. And a great thing I learned about pinning accidentally was if you put the pin straight down and then you tip it, what would be that? So at about a 45 to 90 degree angle, and then you push it in. Whoops, I'm lying right now here. That helps secure it quite a bit. The one is kind of making me a liar, but as you get going, you will see. So I do one side, and then I do the other side, and I'm going over about three rows, I think. So 1, 2, and 3, I'm going over 3 rows. And then just put as many pins as you think you need. I basically put one in every stitch. So I should have close to 6 pins in here. And don't worry if you get it wrong the first time, or just make sure you correct it. It's a lot easier to correct when it's pinned than after you've sewn it on. So mine's back a touch more than I'd like, but I'm going to leave it. I'm just going to make sure when I do the other one, I have it back that far too. Okay, so where is... I lost my... Why do I keep putting it back there? There it is. So thread your darning needle, and I gave myself lots of extra yarn, I see. Now hopefully I remember to keep this in frame. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to go down around one stitch. And you could come up through your ear, but I like to do it in 2 stages just so I know that I'm not twisting and pulling where my pins are. So if I'd tried to dig up in there, I might have moved my arm, and I don't want to move it. So I want to come up in that stitch just below where I went through. And then I'm going to go down in the stitch where I have my next pin, and it's the next stitch in the ear. I'm going to go down and around a row again. Just make sure you're under where your ear stitches are going to be so you don't see them. So I went down this stitch. I'm going to come up this stitch. Same thing on the next one. I'm going to go down this next stitch where I just took that pin out. Go around a stitch through the body. Oops. That's one bad thing about this bent hook. It sometimes is in the wrong direction. I want to make sure that I'm coming up under where my ear is going to be, not in front of it. I have a decrease there that's causing me a problem. Oh, sorry. Maybe I do need it up a little higher. And then I'm going to come up this next stitch where my pin is. I'm making sure I'm going through both parts of the stitch of the V. And now I'm going to go down in this last stitch. And then back up where I started. Yeah, I did get it a little far too back, but that's okay. And then I'm going to go down the next stitch and I'm going to come out and tie my knot. Just so I'm securing that a little better. So I'm only tying one knot here because I'm going to tie them again together. So now I'm going to go back down under the ear and out through the back, somewhere in between where my 2 ears will be. So somewhere around there. And I'm just going to ignore this tail till I'm done the other ear. Make sure you give it a pull to hide your knot. I got that a little overstuffed. See, I think I'm starting to appreciate going down another hook size. For about the last month, I've been making a few orders that I've been using smaller hooks for. And it sure is a lot nicer when it comes to the stuffing part because you're not making those. See, this one's understuffed compared to this one. I think I'm going to leave it though. It'll work. I'll just shape this one a little different. No, I'm going to shut off. I'm going to add a little stuffing to this one. I'll be right back. Alright, I think that's better. They're a little more uniform now. So now, the hardest part about this second ear is going to be making sure you have it even with the first ear. So no matter what you did with this ear, make sure you're about the same with the second ear. So This time I'm going to make sure I pin on the bottom, and I'm going to go my 1, 2, 3 rows. Just put your pins in. I know not all of you are probably watching this right now, and you've skipped ahead, but I just want to say, for those of you that enjoy watching me sew together, I appreciate you telling me that, and I will keep these parts in for as long as everybody wants to watch them. And if you don't want to watch them, you can just skip ahead. That is the beauty of YouTube. Okay, so you're going to go down, come up a stitch in your ear, go in your next stitch and down, come up. This one, when you're doing it, double check that you're staying pretty even. It's really easy to get off. Especially when you have such a tiny little amount. We're only doing 6 stitches. I think that one's attached. Come back up. Now I'm going to pull this over just a touch to make sure it's staying even when I come down. So I'm going over a little bit further than I was originally going to go. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Well, it looks good in the front. In the back, I look like I'm one row over, but sometimes you just gotta live with the little imperfections. You can take it out if you want, but I don't think it's gonna. Sometimes it's like you're gonna notice what's wrong, but nobody else is gonna notice. It's just one of those kind of things. I'm just gonna go down and under so I can tie my knot. I'm going to go down, and I'm going to come out where I took that last thread for the other ear, come through the same hole, pull your knot down, and then you're going to tie these. Sometimes when I do my ears, I do like I did the arms, and I bring them nice and tight together, but I want these exactly how I have them right now. So I'm just going to tie them loosely. And then we'll thread them back on and come out down in the body somewhere. Okay. Fix that hole if you had one. Whoop. 1 second. cut your strings. And there we go. All right, now we're gonna do the tummy. So grab your lighter color, and we're gonna start the same way we started everything else. I'll be doing my knot with the loop on the end. You can start any way you prefer, as long as you have the same stitches in row 1. So I'm going to grab my yarn, chain 1, remembering that just attaches the yarn to the loop and does not count as a stitch. And for row 1, we're going to do 8 single crochets into the loop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And you want to make sure you close that hole however you've started, because this will be showing right on the front. Grab a stitch marker if you're using one. And for row 2, we're going to do 1 single crochet, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 12. So 1, increase, 2 and 3, 4, increase, 5 and 6, 7, increase, 8 and 9, 10, increase, 11 and 12. Row 3, we're going to do the same thing. 1 single crochet, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 18. 1, increase for 2 and 3, 4, increase, 5 and 6, 7, increase, 8 and 9, 10, increase, 11 and 12, 13, increase, 14 and 15, 16, and an increase, 17 and 18. Row 4, we're going to do 2 single crochets and an increase. Repeat that all the way around for a total of 24. 1, 2, and an increase, 3 and 4, 5, 6, and an increase, 7 and 8, 9, 10, and an increase, 11 and 12, 13, 14, and an increase, 15 and 16, 17, 18, and an increase, 19 and 20, 21, 22, and an increase, 23 and 24. Row 5, we're going to do 3 single crochets, 1 increase. Repeat that all the way around for a total of 5. 1 or 30, sorry. We're working in sets of 5. 1, 2, and 3. Increase 4 and 5. And that's why I write it up on top. I make a lot of mistakes. I'm not a videoer. I just like making patterns. So 6, 7, 8, and an increase, 9 and 10. 11, 12, 13, and an increase, 14 and 15. 16, 17, 18, and an increase, 19 and 20. 21, 22, 23, and an increase, 24 and 25. Last set here, 26, 27, oopsie, 28, and an increase, 29 and 30. Row 6, we're going to do 4 single crochets, 1 increase. Repeat that all the way around for a total of 36. 1, 2, 3, 4, and an increase, 5 and 6. 7, 8, 9, 10, and an increase, 11 and 12. 13, 14, 15, 16, and an increase, 17 and 18. 19, 20, 21, 22, and an increase, 23 and 24. 25, 26, 27, 28, and an increase, 29 and 30. Excuse me. And this should be our last set. 31, 32, 33, 34, and an increase, 35 and 36. Row 7, we're going to do 5 single crochets, 1 increase. Repeat that all the way around for a total of 42. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and an increase, 6 and 7. 8, 9, 10, 10, 11, 12, and an increase, 13 and 14. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and an increase, 20 and 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, and an increase, 27 and 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, and an increase, 34 and 35. And our last one, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, and an increase, 41 and 42. Now, if you're doing Totoro in the number 6 yarn, this is where I stopped. I did do an extra row and then another extra row, and I thought it was a little too big. Plus, I've put his tummy patch about 2 rows lower than I wish I had. So if you want to stop now and hold it up to your guy and see how it looks, if you're happy with it, stop now, and then you can skip on to the sewing part. If you want to make it a little bit bigger, your next row is going to be 6 single crochets and an increase. And then you can, for 48, and then you can either do a row of 48 around, or you can do another increase, which would be 7 single crochets and an increase, and I can't remember, is that 50? It'll be 50 something. 9 times 6, whatever that is. And now if you're doing the number 4 yarn, we're just going to do one more row of 42 single crochets all the way around, just to get rid of the little points of the hexagonal shape. So round 8, 42 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, and just to kind of keep the shape, my last stitch, I'm going to do a slip stitch and a slip stitch and then tie off, just to kind of keep the circle round. If you need to do another slip stitch, that's fine, but I want to start kind of in the corner when I sew it on, so leave quite a bit of a tail for sewing. And then just pull that through and tie it off. I'm just doing it once since this is going to be sewn in. And get rid of my stitch marker. So I accidentally sewed the belly patch on before I did the little V's. So I tried making another one. I wasn't quite happy with my V's, how I pinned it. And I'm happy now with it on here. So I'm going to show you while it's attached, but you do yours right now before you attach it. It'll be a lot easier. So what I did was I found my center, and I went down one row, so I'm just the next row below. That's my center. Then I went down 2 rows and 1 space over and 1 space over to get my first triangle. And then I went in a line across the bottom, 1 space over for the bottom of my next triangle, 1 space over for the other side of that bottom. And then I just kind of centered this other one up and top for the point. So I did the same thing on the other side. And then when I came down to do my next row, so I centered this point. So this is my next row here. So I came down and over 1. So this is my next point on this side. And I came, oh, that's black. That should have been a different color. And I came down and over on this side to start my next triangles. And on the next 2 rows down for the bottom of my triangles, I just have 1 space between each. So this is the center. This is the one side of my triangle, the other. So then I just went over. This isn't gonna, I hope this isn't confusing, but I'll put a screenshot so you can have a look. And of course, they can be however you want. You don't even have to do them this way. So since mine is sewn on, I'm just going to start somewhere randomly and come over to the one side. So you want to start on this side, however you have it pinned. So this should be on the underneath side of yours. It'll be on the back side. You're coming from the back up through here. I just have to leave here so I can tie it. So ignore that. And then I'm going to go into the top of my triangle and come down to the other point of my triangle. And get rid of those. And I'm going to come up to make that a V. And I'm going to come down to the bottom of my next triangle. Oops, I'm not in the stitch. I should have pulled the pin out first. I'm just going to leave it. So we're just going from the tops to the bottoms. This actually ain't too bad to do while it's attached, if you decide you want to do it this way. So you're just making sure you're getting one side and then the other side. I gotta start paying attention to where I pull those pins out. I almost forgot where my hole was. Back to the top, and then you can start this one anywhere, but I'm going to come to the bottom since I was doing tops to bottoms before. I'll just hold my thumb there to keep track of where that was. This actually is easier to do it this way. Or not maybe easier, but quicker. Oops, I looked away. I should just drop my pins, I think. And then I keep my eye on that hole. There, that's better. Don't worry if it's not perfect. From what I could tell from watching the show, I can't even decide if you're supposed to have 3 or 4 on top. Oops, stuck on something there. See, that one's not very good. I'll come over here. And then my last one here. And then because mine is attached, I just got to bring it back to where I started. But you can just flip yours around and tie it on the back. Whoops, I pulled that a little too tight. And then you can just cut your ends so they don't aren't in your way. And I'll just be putting mine out the back. Unless you decide to skip sewing it on how, and you want to watch me do this, you're going to have to just flip around a little bit. Just mark the timestamp, and then you'll be able to find it easy. Alright, so we just have, you'll be sewing on this, and then I will jump back to where I have it sewed on, and we will do the face, and we'll be almost done. Grab your pins, and then now what you want to do, just kind of decide where you want to place. I like to put my starting thread on the bottom, just so you can kind of hide it, and line it up just kind of around the arm row. So just kind of make a line where your arms attach, and then line that up. I'm putting the straighter side here on the bottom. And just remember, you have to put a face here. So you don't want to go any higher than the arms. And then I'm just going to pin that right there. And I'm going to pin the bottom. Make sure you're even this way. Then I'm going to pin the sides. Try not to pull it out where your corners would have been before you did the last row, or you are going to make corners. See, mine's a little bit that way, but you can kind of fix it as you're sewing. So now I got it kind of held in place. I'm going to put a whole bunch of pins in now, probably at least 2 between each pin I already have in there. And as you're pinning, you can kind of pull it and shape it a bit so it's a little rounder, or not as round when you get on those points. Don't be afraid to use as many pins as you want, because the better that's secured, the more it's not going to move around on you. Like I did with the ears, if you need a pin in almost every stitch, that is quite fine. The last thing you want to do is have such a nice piece of work and then you end up sewing something on wrong and feeling like you've wrecked the whole project. Alright, so thread your needle. I definitely have way too much string. I might actually cut that a bit. We'll use that for eyes or something later on. Alright, so to begin, you're going to go down underneath where your knot is. When I say underneath, I mean underneath the white part, so you're not going to see the stitches going around. You're just going to grab a piece of the row underneath. You want to pull that knot kind of down, and you're going to come up the next stitch. I'm going to take that pin out. I'm just going to go down the next stitch, wrap around the row. Now you can come up right now. Like I also said before, I feel like I pull my piece around when I do that. So I just make it, it takes twice as long, but I like the result better. So you're just going up the next stitch, then down the next stitch, staying underneath. Do I need to move this a bit? There we go. I'm watching what I'm doing. I'm not watching what I'm filming. So if I go out of frame, I do apologize. But I am going to do it all on camera in case you just want to watch. Because I do have a lot of people that say they appreciate seeing the sewing part. So even though I'm not an expert at it, we get her done. You're just going to do that all the way around. Check once in a while that you're not pulling it out of place. Or readjust it if you need to. See, I feel like I could have went up that one because it's kind of straight, but I'm just going to keep on doing it this way. We decided to stop last night and pick up in the morning when it was a little cooler up here. I'm just wondering, since I have the windows open, if you guys can hear the birds chirping. It's actually quite relaxing listening. Usually I have my windows shut. I almost tried to set a table up in the shade outside last night. But then I was like, I'll wait till morning. Now when you get to this top here, you want to make sure you're following this line wherever you have it lined up here, so that you keep this top on the straighter side. So all my stitches are going to be going around a stitch in this line underneath the tummy patch. Just be careful not to pull it over to the side too much as you're doing that. Oops, catching on stuff here. I think I'll do one more up high and then I'll start working my way down. Double check it's coming out even. And don't be afraid to take it apart. If you've done it wrong, you want to be happy with it. So if you're not going to be happy with it, this comes out really easy. Just use your needle to back off the stitches back here. I will say this is my fourth one, I think. And I do not want to do any more of these. One of my daughter's favorite things, so I finally made her one. She's going to be getting the big one. I had it, she was down a couple weeks ago and I had it done, but I didn't have the eyes glued on, and I was like, can you wait until I video it for a picture? Of course, she said yes. So she'll be happy when she finally gets her Totoro. I'll see, she might be making me make more of these characters. I really want to do the sprite, but it's black, so it's hard to video. I've never really made a star, so I've been practicing these little teeny stars. I don't know if they look like stars or flowers, but and then I can't decide how to do the legs. If it's a keychain, it works, doesn't matter, but if I wanted it sitting, plus I got to make it pretty tiny for the size we're doing today. We'll see. I got so many things to do. Like, it's rolling around to Halloween time, and I feel like I haven't even finished the Halloween stuff that I've been asked to make from last Halloween. Alright, so we're at the end. So I'm just going to go down, and I'm going to go back the other way. See, I want my knots right here, so I'm going over, and then back down through, just to kind of try and get rid of that little bump that's there. I might have just made a bigger bump because I didn't pull my original knot through all the way. So I'm going to come back here, and then I'm going to tie it. Am I through both? Yep. Just kind of pull that around a bit. You probably won't see it if it's low enough anyway. And I'm just going to kind of lift down and underneath and try and pick a stitch to make my knot. Make sure you're underneath the white so you can't see that knot. And I'm going to do it twice. And then you're just going to thread that down through, right close to where you made the knot, and then out somewhere, out the back. Pull that so the knot is hidden on the inside. Tie that off. Oh no! Guess what we forgot to do? We forgot the little stripes. I'm gonna actually, oh shoot, then I gotta make another one. Let me think. Well, I guess the beauty with the magic of editing is I can make another one and pop it in before we sew it down. So I guess that's what I'll do. Okay, now we're going to do the face, and we're going to start with the nose. And I'm just going to start randomly up here somewhere, and I'm going to end up tying my end. So you want to go in the row that your eyes were inserted in. So just find that middle row right there. And you want to come just to the inside on both sides to make your nose. So mine is 1, 2, 3 holes wide. So I'm going to go to one side. Leave a little bit up here for tying and coming back. Then I'm going to go over to this side. I have 1 stitch in the middle if our eyes and felt are exactly the same. And you can do however many of these you want. I'm going to do about 3. 1 looks fine too. So you're just going to go around those stitches for however bumpy you want your nose to be. So that's twice, and yeah, I think I'm going to go one more time. So I'm going to go in, but now I need to come out where I want my mouth. So I'm going to go down. I want to find my center. So about right there. So I'm going down 2 rows. 1, 2, and then coming out in the center where I have that pin. Now I'm going to make my mouth, and it's just going to be a little, actually I could have made that a little, actually I'm going to go down one more, just because it's a little more centered. Okay, yeah. Now we're going to go this way around the row. Just one row, just like we did the nose. And you're just going to go however many times you want your mouth to be wide or bumped up. So I think I'm going to be about 3 times again. And now we want to go over. I'm going to have a look. 1, 2, 3. So in the line where we started our mouth, 1, 2, 3 holes. And that will be the beginning of our whisker. And then wherever you want your whiskers to be, I went 1, 2, about 2.5 and up. So 1 hole, 2 holes, and then kind of diagonally up. And then you're going to go back right underneath the next row of where you started. And about 2 stitches over. I wanted my bottom stitch to be a touch shorter. And then we're just going to mirror that on the other side. So we went over 3 holes. So 1, 2, 3. We're going to go in that 3rd hole from your mouth. And it was 2.5 if you remember. So 1, 2, and kind of a half, and then up. And it doesn't have to be, actually if you go up from where you went in, it's 1, 2, the 3rd hole. That might be a better way. Then you're going to come back down to where you started the top whisker. Just 1 row under. And 1, 2 holes over. So is it right here? 1, 2. I think I'm going 3 holes over on this side. Yeah. Just kind of make them even, and then you're going to come up where you started. Hopefully that side's not too long. think it works. Then you're just going to tie this and put them in. And I think we're done. I'm surprised how long this one took. I don't know why. I guess the ears, 2 ears, 2 arms, and a tail took a while, plus the tongue. So I guess I'm just going to remind you while I'm tying this that if you enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button, because not only does that help me out, but you will also be notified when I load a video. I also have a Facebook craft page. It will be linked down in the description. You have to hit more and then see more so you get the full thing. It'll be down there. If you want to share anything you made. Mostly just thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed crocheting with me, and I see you in another one of my videos. So you guys have a great day, be safe, and happy crocheting.